Okay, as touched on in a previous lesson, I mentioned fasting and how it could be inhibiting your weight loss. Now, I am somebody who has done fasting, in other words, not eating for 24 or 48 hours for the last 20 years. But as I got closer and closer to menopause, what I was noticing is that I could fast for 24 hours, but as soon as I hit 48 hours, the scale went up. And that shocked me. I was like, what is going on? So here is what I learned about fasting at this stage of the game. Fasting can actually increase your cortisol level. And we all know what happens when our cortisol level increases. It causes our body to hold on to or to produce fat. It's a stress response. So fasting may work for you, but it also may be hindering you. So I advise you to go cautiously into the arena of fasting. If you really want to do fasting because it's part of your lifestyle, here is a suggestion for you. There are two types of fasting that you can do. One is, of course, a full day fast where you're not eating anything. You're only drinking herbal teas or water. Or the other way is sort of scheduled fasting. And this is the way that I prefer to do because it doesn't raise my cortisol levels and it is very effective. I have found with all of my clients, they've actually had some great success with fasting. So you want to try to implement this. So basically what you want to do is have your last meal of the day as early as you can. And I try not to eat any later than 6 p.m. This is for a variety of reasons, but the number one reason is that it takes anywhere from 3 to 5 hours for your body to fully digest food. And if you're still digesting food when you go to sleep, there are a whole bunch of hormones that do not get released because you have food in your system. That also plays into weight gain. So I get into that in another lesson. So you want to have your last meal around 6 o'clock to allow for a lot of time for digestion and everything to be done before you go to bed. And then you want to push your first meal of the day as far forward as you possibly can. Now, I'm not saying this is going to work for everybody because some people start work at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning and they're starving by the time 7 or 8 a.m. rolls around, and I understand that. But if you can postpone your breakfast a couple of hours later than normal and even push it to maybe 11 or 12 p.m. around lunchtime, that is actually going to serve you very well. It's going to help your body to balance hormones, to reduce inflammation. It's also going to encourage your body to use your fat stores for fuel until you get your next meal. So that is just one little tip and trick that you want to try. And once again, play around with the hours, but start with ending your meal, ending any type of eating whatsoever by 6 p.m. in the evening. And even if that is where you start, maybe you're often a snacker in the evening, don't snack, start there, eat your breakfast at the normal time, and then maybe over the next couple of weeks, push it by an hour or two and move it forward and see how far you can get. I recommend till 12 o'clock. And you will start to notice that you are having some results in the weight loss department. Now, I do want to preface that by saying there is one exception to the rule. If you are somebody who has high cortisol levels when you wake up in the morning, and how you will know this is either A, by having a urine test through your doctor. It's a 24-hour urine test, so you would just go and get a little bucket and you pee into that all day long and you will know. The other way is by waking up and you have a lot of anxiety. That is typically a sign that you have very high cortisol in the morning. Now, we all are supposed to have higher cortisol in the morning. That is our get up and go hormone, but it comes down as the day goes on. But if it is extremely high in the morning, you're going to wake up with anxiety. For you, do not do the fasting in the morning. The most important thing for you to do is to have a carbohydrate, a complex carbohydrate, first thing in the morning. And I get into that more in another lesson, but I just wanted to touch on the fasting and all the different ways that you can play around with it to see how it's going to affect your body and potentially have some really good weight loss results.